Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to meet you all. And today we are going to discuss two big topics of grammar. They are noun clause and adjective clause. Please pay attention to this presentation. What we are going to discuss today is about first, we are going to define what clauses are. And the second one, we are going to talk about the noun clause. And the last one, we will discover adjective clause. First, we are going to define the clause. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and predicate, and it forms a part of a sentence. If a clause completes sense itself, it is called as main clause. But if it depends on another clause to complete its meaning, we call it as subordinate clause. There are three types of subordinate clause in English. The first one is noun clause, the second one is adjective clause, and another one, the last one, is adverb clause. And in this presentation, we are going to talk about noun clause and adjective clause. Now, let us see what we mean by noun clause. A noun clause is a subordinate clause that does the work as a noun in a sentence. For example, the sentence, I know that she left for dance class in the morning. I know we call as main clause, while that she left for the dance class in the morning is the noun clause because this clause replaces the word it, which function as the noun. A noun clause normally start with subordinators. For example, the question words who, whom, which, whose, what, and so on, including whoever, whomever, whichever, whenever, wherever, or whatever. For example, she does not know where he went. Whether he will win is undecided, or whether you do it well. Now, let us see the function of the noun clause itself. The noun clause can act as subject of a verb. For example, for the sentence, what road we take is your choice. The second function as the object of a verb. For example, I thought that we would watch a movie. The next function of the noun clause is as object of a participle. For example, discovering that it was right, I jumped with joy. And then it is also function as object of a preposition. For example, in the sentence of sometimes I think of what he said. More function about noun clause is as subject of infinitive. For example, in the sentence of Jim wants to know where his friends are. And then noun clause also function as an adjective complement. For example, the girls were happy that Saturday was a holiday. The next one, noun clause, has functioned as a complement of a verb of incomplete prediction. For example, the problem is that we do not have a leader. And the last one is as an opposition to a noun or a pronoun. For example, in the sentence of the man that we saw there is Mr. Harris. Now, let us do exercises. Identify each noun clause. Is it used as a subject, direct object, an indirect object, object of preposition, or predicative noun? Please read the sentences and identify the noun clause and decide its function. Check your answers here and find if you can answer those questions correctly. If you still have mistakes, study again the previous slides. Let's deepen your understanding by answering those questions. Good luck! What do you think the answer of these questions? Give your reasons. Now, let us talk about the second topic, that is adjective clause. An adjective clause is a dependent clause that must be joined to an independent clause. It describes noun and pronouns. Adjective clause is often placed in a sentence right after the noun they describe, and it gives details to sentence functioning as adjective. The adjective clauses begin with one of the relative pronouns such as who, whom, whose, where, that, which. This is also called as relative clause. Now let us talk about the relative pronouns and the relative clauses. First, who. Who refers to people used as subject in a clause. For example, the lady who teaches in English department is my mentor. The next one is whom. Similar to who, whom also refers to people, but we use it as object or object of preposition. For example, Jolly, whom he knew, arrived yesterday. The next one is which or that. We use which or that refers to things or animals. For example, the watch which Ken bought was expensive. The ring that Jamie wears is from her husband. The next one is whose, that refers to possession or ownership. For example, the young man whose child is missing is frantic. The next one is when. It refers to a time. It cannot be a subject and it can be omitted. For example, I will never forget the day when I graduated. Or when we omit this, it will be I will never forget the day I graduated. The next one is where. It refers to a place. It cannot be a subject. It can be omitted, but a preposition usually must be added. For example, the house where he stays is old. The house in which he stays is old. The house which he stays in is old. Or the house that he stays in is old. Why is our another relative pronoun. It refers to a reason and it also can be omitted. For example, I don't know why he disappeared. Or I don't know the reason he disappeared. Now let us talk about the use of adjective clause and differentiate restrictive and non-restrictive clauses. Now, here are the differences of restrictive clauses and non-restrictive clauses. Can you find them and identify the difference? Restrictive adjective or relative clauses, for example, The soccer player who scored the goal is from Liverpool. The girl that borrows my book is my cousin. For the non-restrictive clause, for example, Miss Martha, who is my English tutor, went to Japan last winter. My dog, which is barking, is in the backyard. Let us differentiate restrictive and non-restrictive clause for the sentence, my brother who lives in Bukit Timah is an accountant. If we put comma in who lives in Bukit Timah, it identifies that I only have one brother and he is an accountant. But if we do not put comma between who lives in Bukit Timah and is an accountant, it means that I have more than one brother, and the one who is an accountant lives in Bukit Timah, not somewhere else. Can you identify which one is logically correct from these two sentences? Yes, my father, who is a taxi driver, doesn't like to exercise because we only have one father. If we do not put comma there, it means that we have more than one father. You see? Let's check again your understanding with these two sentences. Which one is logically correct based on the condition? Yes, you did it. This is the answer. Please check it again. Which one is correct? Fantastic. You did it. Great job. Please study those references if you want to know deeper about noun clause and adjective clause. Study hard, okay? Thank you for your attention. That's the end of the presentation. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. See you again. Bye-bye, everyone.